Alright, moving on to Halloweentown 2, Kalabar's Revenge. And I don't know why they called it that. I don't know why it's now spelled with a K, in spite of the fact that it was spelled with a C in the first film. And like I said, I don't know why they call it Kalabar's I don't know why they call it Kalabar's Revenge, because Kalabar's not part of it. It's his son, Kal, and I just don't get it. So, the story takes place 2 years after the first film, and like they said at the end of the first film, Aggie is now living with them. She has her own little magic room, because they can magically add rooms onto the house. This is also done in the third one, so be ready for that. Marty meets a new boy and immediately takes him to his grandma's secret room. Why would you you don't know this boy. You never met him. This is the first time you're meeting this boy. You don't know him. Why would you then take him to your grandma's secret bedroom? I don't understand this at all. But it's a plot convenience so that Kal can get the spell book. So, they decide they want to visit Halloweentown, because you can only do it on Halloween, so they do. And they find it all gray, including Luke, who is now back to being human. And so they realize, that Kal has something to do with it. He's evil. He's actually Kalabar's son. But they come to this realization out of fucking nowhere. It's just like, Kal, you're Kalabar's son. Well, it's not that simple. She does realize it from the flowers. But come on. Like, cause he gives her a flower. And that's how she realizes it. And I'm just thinking, a flower and his name is Kal, which is close to Kalabar. That doesn't, I don't know. It's too easy for her to come up with it. Anyway, this gray spell is turning the people of Halloweentown human. And at midnight, he's turned the creatures into humans, and now he plans to turn the humans into creatures. This ragtag group of maybe 100 people at a party, maybe a little bit more than 100, maybe 200 people at a party, into monsters. Okay. Why? I don't know. I did never really explain why he wants to do this. And it's part of his revenge for what? Like, I guess he's turning the creatures human for not siding with his father, and then turning the humans into creatures for banishing the creatures to Halloweentown to begin with. I guess that's the easiest way to explain it. But, so some of my biggest problems with this franchise is, like, so in the first film, Dylan embraces his human side reluctantly. And here are his magic side, his warlock side. But here he's still like, oh no, I'm just human. Okay. The younger sister serves a little purpose, sort of. And we meet Kal's father, who is actually a golem made of frogs, and he wears a frog costume. And he likes the color green. Okay, so now they make contact with these skull phones. And this time watching, I found an inconsistency. So, they talk to Dylan and they tell him to get the spell book, but he says that he's busy, and she says, do it or I will spam your diary on the internet. He's like, you don't know the password. She goes, oh really? Iron buns? And she hands the skull to Aggie, and she, iron buns, laughs at him while Marnie goes to chase off after Luke, who keeps walking away. Because he's all, whatever. In the very next scene, though, when he goes to, it says that that it's not there, Marnie is now holding the skull. How did she get a hold of the skull when Aggie had it? She left Aggie to get Luke. Anyway, Cal, unsurprisingly, has stolen that book. So Aggie says she has another book at her house. However, the spell has thing, or maybe she lost it. She says she lost it, and if it's lost, they gotta go to Gort's. But Gort is rearranged, and he says that he did a yard sale. But that's not relevant. So Aggie turns gray, and so now Luke and Marnie now time travel. By the way, during this, they accidentally say a word that turns Luke back into a goblin, thinking that the spell's going to run out. But that's not what happens. Turns out, she accidentally said the reverse. Because apparently, every spell is just a word, and then the reverse is how you say it backwards, and that's how you reverse, which is really weird. Even though there are longer spells, but you say in reverse, that's how she reverses it in. But anyway, so they decide they're now trapped inside Gort's house because Cal knew they would be going there. And so now they time travel back to the past and are looking for this book. Only to then, and there's this whole time travel thing, trying to find its way back. Trying to find their way back to the past. Whole ordeal. They go to the caveman times. They go other times. They finally get back to where Gort is. And they go through this whole thing trying to find it. I don't mean to keep yawning for some reason. I hate this. Okay? I don't yawn at all. And then as soon as I start shooting a video, I can't stop yawning. I hate that. I hate it. Anyway, so they go through all this time travel stuff. And now they start looking through Gort's place and they can't find it. And then he's like, oh, was it a book with some strange writing on it? Yeah, Bibliomagica, yeah. And he's like, well, I sold that to Kalabar 100 years ago. First of all, I know they say that time passes differently in Halloweentown. Wouldn't Aggie be dead then? If that's the case, they say that for every year, it's going to feel like 100 years here. But I don't know. Aggie's not immortal, so I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, Kalabar's had it the whole time. Cal had both spell books. So this whole thing of them trying to find a spell book was pointless. Yes, wasting time in a film to just show us, hey, they're trying to find this book, but guess what? They're never gonna find it. So this whole story of them trying to find it was pointless to begin with. And then they run out of time, so they're not able to come back through the portal. They figure out the thing because it was Trappa, which is a part is the spell that turns them gray, but Trappa turns them back to normal. They figure it out, and then they lose the spell. Now, if something is lost anywhere else other than Gort's house, it goes to Gort's house. But if it's lost in Gort's house, it goes poof. But luckily, Gort happens to have a timeline in his closet that sends them back to a normal time. They free Grandma and Gort, and then, or they free Grandma, Aggie, and then go back to the world only portal shut. But hey, guess what? We're going to break the rules and do our own spell and open the portal. And there's a showdown between Marnie and Cal, who has turned all these humans into monsters using a spell. And he's got this weird cloak and this black thing. He's got both spells. He's like, take it. She's glowing. And she touches it and he goes, ah! And flies up. There's your climax. And then they end with this line here. He'll be back. And we'll be waiting for him. He never comes back! Ever! In any future movie. That's my biggest problem with this film, is that they promised his return. And that's why I thought the fourth one would be. We'll get there. But it's not. Then they go to Halloweentown, they free everyone. You know, they bring Benny back and everything. Yeah, and it ends. And a happy ending, and now that they open their own portal, the time lapse is not different. Time runs the same now. I think they explain that in the next one. So, yeah. But yeah, and then they send Luke back. They make a joke saying, hey, we should take you back before you win Best Costume. He's like, what, really? I'm like, okay. Yeah. This was not bad. I'm going to give it a 7. But that ending has always bugged me. Not because of how it ends here. The fact that they say he'll be back, we'll be ready for him. And he never shows up again. They never bring him back. Ever. Never, ever. And it's always seemed like to me like they had a plan for a third film, and then they changed their minds, or they couldn't find a script that worked, so they just scrapped it and wrote an entire new script. Who knows? But it's a 7 out of 10 for me. So what are your thoughts on Halloweentown 2 Kalabar's Revenge? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one.